Queens and kings, my name is Thandeka Shabangu. Welcome to my channel. If it is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Welcome to today's tutorial where we're doing our letter N. We haven't done letters in a while, for a while, for a while. Yes, it's been a while since we've done our letters. Hi, both South Africans. What are you guys saying with this coldness that is happening? At this point, it is illegal. At this point, haibo, something is wrong. Nithule skodol. So what materials are we using for this tutorial? We're going to be using our standard combo, our 8 knot sized check beads. We're going to be using our upholstery thread and our needle. So let's get started. So in the previous, we made our M. Today we'll be starting with our N. So queens and kings, when you start with your 2 red beads. Take your needle, insert it into the first loop. I prefer to start from the top than from the bottom moving up, especially when you're starting the letters. It's easier to gauge when you start from the top. And then you're going to, after this, you're going to now go to your different color. Now we're going to add our line. Ne? So we start with our first light green bead. Then insert your second light green bead. Doing this while doing the brick stitch makes you work quicker. But at the same time, you have to be careful when you're adding your needle. Make sure your needle doesn't go through your thread. Let me show you how. Okay, so you're doing the standard thing. So there's a thread that's going through your bead. Make sure when you insert your needle should be far away from your thread, as you can see like this, ne? Because if your needle goes past your thread, it will be hard for your needle to pass through like this freely. You can try this. It helps you to be more quicker. Yeah, I like using this method because it helps me be more quicker when I use a brick stitch. So I have my 3 beads. This is my 4th green beads. So in total, you should have 8 green beads. So I've added my first 4 green beads. So the rest of the green beads, I'm going to add them off camera. So I'm going to add my 4 green beads and 2 red. And then we're going to come back when we're starting the next row. Same process, same everything. Okay, so we're at the corner. Now we're turning, we're starting a new row. So remember that hack that I showed you? I wouldn't advise to do it when you currently have 2 beads because it gets a bit confusing. Your thread goes all the way. Yeah. But it's doable, but I wouldn't advise. Only when you are working with the center part of your thread. Center part of your beading or of your belt. Okay. So I'm going to add red beads all the way until we get closer to our N. Okay, add my 1 red bead. You know, I forget to use my method when I am shooting a tutorial. I only do it when I work alone and I'm pushing an order. Ooh. Okay, queens and kings. So you're just gonna keep on adding your red beads until you get to the top. Add your red beads all the way. Not the top, but the top of our N. We're currently busy with our capital letter N. I made a note here. Okay, I'll come back. Okay, sorted out my problem. I pick up one more red bead, and then I pull my thread. Okay, when I'm at this point, in between the first and the second bead, I add my one green bead. This is my one green bead. I'm going to add it. There we go. And I pull my thread. So we're going to meet in the next row where I come back. I finished my line, so now we're starting on a new row. You pick up your two red beads and you add your needle into the first loop like this. And then you insert your needle into your beads. Okay, and then you take another bead. Okay, so now at this point, after adding your three red beads, you're gonna add two green beads. So this is my first green bead. And this is my second green bead. And then from this point, you add your red beads until you get to the bottom. And then when you come back, we're gonna start again. So you just continue with your red beads and then we're going to meet in the next row. Okay, you pick up your two red beads and you add them nicely, and then you insert your needle into your bead. Then you pull nicely. Then you add your red beads. So you're going to keep on adding your red beads until you get to your green beads. That's when we're going to do things differently and we are going to react differently. But not exactly until we get to the green beads. Just a bead down. Just one more bead down. That's where we're going to add our two green beads. I know, queens and kings, our N currently looks funny, but it's one of those moments in beading where you have to trust the process. There are times in beading when you look at your work and you're like, uthini yenza zona nje? Am I on the right track? Kanti yes, you are. It's just that it has to come together nicely and look pretty. So this is where we are. When you get to this point, that is where you're going to start adding your green bead. So we add our first green bead. So you take your green bead and insert it under here, and then you pull. This is our first green bead. Now you add your second green bead so that it connects nicely. This is our second green bead. So from this point, moving forward, you're going to add your red beads. So we're going to meet in the next row. Okay, so now we've in the corner. Now we're starting a new row together. You pick up your 2 red beads and then you add them nicely. So you're going to keep on adding your red beads until we get to our green beads. Then we're going to change the color of our beads from this point. So you add your red beads all the way. All the way, queens and kings, until, so this is our last red bead. So we've added our 6 red beads. Now we're going to add our 2 green beads. Our first green bead, and then we add our second green bead. This is our first green bead. This is our second green bead. Oopsie. So from this point, once you've added, you're going to complete with your red beads for the rest of the row, and then we come back. I have added my 2 red, so you're going to pick up your 2 red beads. I've added my red beads, sorry, for the rest of the row. So now I start off with my 2 red beads. This is how it is. And then I pick up 1 red bead. Still checking if we're adding red or we're adding green. Okay, so from this point, you're going to add your 2 green beads, queens and kings. So this is my first green bead. And then I add my second green bead. This is my second green bead. Okay. So from this point, for the rest of the row, I'm going to add my red beads. Red beads all the way until we get to the top and we start a new row. This is how it looks. You start off the new row. So this will be the last row that we'll be doing for our capital N. So for the first, you add your your 2 red beads. And then from this point, moving down, you're going to add 8 green beads. You add your 8 green beads. So this is our first from the 8, our first bead, our first green bead. So you're going to keep on adding the remaining 7 and your red beads, and then we'll meet after that. 7 green and red beads. So this is how it looks like. Now we're gonna get started with our small letter N. So for this part, we're going to start with our 2 red beads. So when we start with 6 red beads in total, and then we add our green beads. So currently I have my 2 red beads. To save time, the remaining 4 I'm going to do it off camera. Okay, I'm back, Queens and Kings. I made a mistake. You add 5 red beads, not 6. So in total I have my 5 red beads, and then you add your 5 green beads, and then your 2 red beads. So 5 red, 5 green, and 5 red, 5 green, and 2 red. Ooh, sorry. Ask me where did I think of the 5 red at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to add my 5 green and my 2 red beads. So in total, so currently I'm going to add 3 green because I already have 2 and 2 red. So 5 red, 5 green, and 2 red. Okay, I'll be back. This is my new row. So for this row, we're going to add 6 red, 1 green, and 5 red. 6 red, 1 green, and 5 red. We'll come back when we're doing the next row. This is how it looks like. So now you're going to add 5 red, 1 green, and 6 red. 5, 1, 6 for your next row. And then we'll meet when we're doing the other row. So here you're going to add 7 red, 1 green, and 4 red. 7, 1, 4. Then you come back to the next row. So now you're going to add 5 red, 1 green, and 6 red beads. 5, 1, 6. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Now you're going to pick up your 2 red beads. Oopsie. And then for this row, this is going to be our last row for our capital letter N. So you're going to add your green. You add your green. This is our first green, our second green, excuse me for the background noise, and then you add our third green, and we add our fourth green, and then we add our fifth green. And this is our complete end. Well, it's not, the row is not complete, but this is how our small end looks like. So for the rest of the row, you're going to add your red beads, and then we are done. And this is our complete row. So this is our N, Queens and Kings. We did our capital letter N and our small letter N. Thank you so much for watching, Queens and Kings. We are done. So our next project will be our O when it comes to the letters. Yes. Thank you so much for watching, Queens and Kings. I love you guys so, so much. Remember to love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, and have fun. If you love the content that you're seeing, please consider subscribing. See you on the next video, Queens and Kings. Bye.